Welcome to EPG Pathshala. Our subject is Indian culture and the course is Museology. Today we will discuss on the module Causes of Deterioration of Cultural Properties. I am Dr. Indrani Bhattacharya, Associate Professor, University of Calcutta, West Bengal. The objectives of this module are to study the factors causing deterioration of cultural properties. These causes are humidity, temperature, light, atmospheric pollution, bio-deterioration and others also. Museum objects are constantly subjected to a number of natural as well as anthropogenic factors causing their deterioration. There are some basic factors which cause serious damage to our cultural property, which are mainly made up of wood, basketry, grass, cane, leather, textiles of various types, bone and ivory, horn, antlers, oil paintings, watercolor paintings, wall paintings in caves, metal, filigree, palm leaf manuscripts, paper, stone, ceramics, pottery, etc. Factors of deterioration may be classified into three categories. First one is physical factor, second one is chemical factors, and third one is biological factors or bio-deterioration. First, we will discuss on physical factors. Physical factors may be accidental wearing and tearing. Administrative fault may be the other cause of damage or deterioration to our cultural properties. Careless handling often occurs in our museums and other institutions which cause damage to our heritage. Failure to control the visitors from touching the objects also cause deterioration of cultural property. Packing at wet condition by oily or greasy hands or with dust covering the objects during packing also cause damage to our cultural property. Displaying in hanging conditions, especially in case of textiles and paintings, cause serious damage for a long time. Cheap paints within the showcase containing volatile sulfur cause serious damage to textiles. Then we come to the most important part of these factors, that is the chemical factors. Chemical factors first includes humidity. Humidity is the most important climatic condition which affect our cultural property related to the amount of water vapors present in the air. There are mainly two ways of measurement of water vapor content in the air or in the atmosphere. First one is absolute humidity and second one is relative humidity. We'll discuss detail about the relative humidity in case of factors which affect our cultural property. We can define relative humidity as the ratio of the amount of moisture actually present in a unit volume of air to the amount of moisture required to saturate the same volume of air at the same temperature. The equation given express the relative humidity, that is the amount of moisture in unit volume of air by amount of moisture required to saturate same volume of air at the same temperature, which is expressed in percentage. That is the relative humidity. The chemical factors which is very important is relative humidity, and this cause the main damages which we can point it out as dimensional changes of mechanical effects, that is shrinkage or swelling of the object. It is very prominent in case of wood painting etc., which ultimately ends to cracking. Second, the flaking and powdering, mainly the paint layer or painting, warping, creasing of glass etc. The other chemical reaction which occurs is the corrosion of metals, which is very prominent in case of iron object and in case of copper and its alloys. The chemical reaction also occurs due to the fading of dyes. It may also we can term it as photolytic effect, which we can see in textiles and paintings, weakening of paper and textiles fibers, weeping of glass etc. Relative humidity also enhances bio-deterioration, which occurs due to microorganism or fungal growth and the growth of insects. The chemical factors, mainly the effects on textile, here we can elaborate. Excessive humidity causes shrinkage, weakening of adhesive used in textile, rotting of the size, discoloration of the textile, mildewing, corrosion of metallic threads and decoration present in the textile, contraction etc. The chemical factors also enhance the damaging effect of light or photolytic effect and accelerate chemical actions. It can cause damp, which is responsible for the growth of fungi, bacteria etc., and swelling and softness of vegetable fibers. Rapid changes in the humidity causes activation of salts and flaking of pigments or paintings. Excessive dryness causes expansion of textiles, embrittlement by desiccation. High temperature also helps in the chemical reaction. Chemical factors also affect wooden object, bamboo, cane, basketry, etc. We already know that wood is a hygroscopic substance and so it absorbs moisture from the surrounding atmosphere. And when the relative humidity rises, wood expands, and when the humidity or moisture contained in the atmosphere decreases, it shrinks. And due to this continuous expansion and shrinkage, ultimately the total object becomes cracked. In tropical countries like India, in summer and in rainy seasons, the relative humidity and temperature is very high. But during winter season, we all know that the moisture contained is low. And for this reason, the wooden object continuously expands and contracts, and the result is seen all over India. High humidity also favors fungi for mold growth and fungal growth. The main chemical factors which affect on leather, parchment, etc., which already constitute a large portion of our cultural heritage, is mainly cracking. It is due to the change of the color, complete breakdown of the structure. Sometimes leather may be reduced to a fine powder by scuffing. When the relative humidity rises above 68%, it causes the growth of fungal and molds. It also favors staining. Physical deterioration like cracking occurs. Prolonged water washing removes tannins and dyes from leather object. Light is another important area for the deterioration of our cultural object. Actually, light is a electromagnetic radiation, and this radiation can cause serious type of damage to different types of object. Direct light causes tendering of fibers and discoloration of dye stubs. The rate of deterioration varies with the intensity light, temperature, relative humidity, ultraviolet rays, and others. For effects of light, mainly the cellulosic and proteinaceous organic objects are affected. Natural history specimen, mainly the specimens of animal origin and plant origin, are affected by light. Daylight has the highest proportion of ultraviolet radiation. Embrittlement and discoloration of paper is caused by light because the actual constituent of paper is cellulose. Damaging effects of light depends on duration of exposure and the intensity of light, and also the changes in the intensity of light cause serious damage to our cultural property. It also cause serious damage due to spectral characteristics of light and the susceptibility of objects to light. The next point we have to remember it is atmospheric pollution. Atmosphere may be said to be polluted when substances in it are present at concentration higher than their normal ambient level to produce a measurable effect on the materials. These substances may exist as gases, liquids, or as solid particles. Air pollution is associated with towns and industry and almost entirely caused by burning of fuels. Nowadays, atmospheric pollution is a burning issue to all of us, and our cultural property also not out of it. The pollutants may be classified into two categories. First one is primary pollutants and the second one is secondary pollutants. We can also classify pollutants as sulfur containing materials, nitrogen containing compounds, ozone, carbon containing materials excluding carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, and then comes carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, halogen compounds, particulate matters, and radioactive compounds. After giving a list of pollution, we now explain the effects of pollution on cultural property. All materials, inorganic, organic or composite, are affected by pollutants. It is subjected to various chemical phenomena like oxidation, reduction, hydrolysis, etc. Pollutants react with artifacts and change their appearance, strength, stability, and also threatening their life or survival. The particulate matters are widely present as dirt and dust. Particles generally include soot, ash, lint, salt, etc. Usually, acid rain from absorbed sulfur dioxide and often cause traces of metal such as iron, which can catalyze or accelerate deterioration. Metals of organic origin are solid and stained by solid particles of carbon, terry matter, and other contaminants. Sand can also damage textile, paper, painting, especially during handling. In coastal region, the hygroscopic saline particle attract moisture, which can not only accelerate decay, but it also helps for the deposition of grime, siliceous and calcareous matters also affected by deposition of dust containing carbon and terry matter. The next serious pollutant is sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, and which is known as sulfonation. Old leather suffers complete disintegration, removes tannin and becomes darkened to red, accompanied by a gradual powdering away of the leather, and it is called red rot. Air contaminated with sulfur dioxide, acid fumes, soot, dust, etc. also cause tendering of textiles. Cellulosic material like silk, wool, etc. Calcium containing material like marble, limestone suffer serious damage due to sulfur dioxide or hydrogen sulfide. Discoloration of colored textile is caused by the bleaching action of sulfur dioxide. Hydrogen sulfide blackens the pigments of the textile, and it also tarnishes metal threads, mainly the silver threads. Calcareous stones like marble, chalk, limestone, alkyl sandstone, etc. in frescoes, which are calcium carbonate, are converted to gypsum or CaSO4, and the formula is given here. As the white solid hydrated calcium carbonate turns to yellow, it is also known as marble cancer. We have seen it in case of Taj Mahal also. Other pollutants includes acetic fumes. Due to this acetic fumes, textile fibers become rotten. Painted organic objects become tender and painting becomes faded. Due to soot and dust, staining occurs. The aesthetic appreciation of the cultural property becomes disturbed. It also attracts moisture and responsible for salt deposition and for the growth of microorganisms on the textiles and related types of materials. Pollutants like carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, dust particles, etc. accelerate the chemical reaction in the paintings. It also gives abrasive effects as well as the chemical reaction with paint and cellulosic materials like paper, textile, etc. It causes the loss of strength and discoloration of canvas and the paint layer in case of painting. Atmospheric pollution affects the structural integrity of the binder and usually causing cracking, peeling off, flaking, etc. Dust particles cause damage to harden paint and affect painting. Blackening of the copper and other alloys also occurs due to atmospheric pollution. Bronze disease is very important in case of deterioration. Chlorides are the most dangerous for metals like copper and its alloys, that is brass, bronze, etc. Chloride ion from various sources react with copper and form unstable cuprous chloride along with other corrosive products. This again react with oxygen in the air and moisture, forming cuprous oxide, cupric chloride and hydrochloric acid. Acid so produced again react with metallic copper and starting a chain of reaction that corrode the total object, and ultimately it causes the total deterioration of the object. This is known as bronze disease, and the whole formula is given here. Ozone is also another important area of discussion. Ozone breaks down the double bond of the carbon chain. All saturated organic materials, mainly cellulosic materials, are sensitive to photooxidation and attacked by ozone. Dyed textile, wool, cellulosic materials, natural resins, furnaces of paintings, saturated hydrocarbon polymers, all are damaged by ozone. Then we come to chlorination. Many ancient sites and monuments near the sea are exposed to sea winds, and in this wind natural salts are present which contained chloride. These salts are deposited on the artifacts, on the sculptures, and then crystallize, dissolve, carried down to the interiors of the tombs and porous materials, where they crystallize again. In dry weather, they are carried out to the surface and cause efflorescence. This movement and crystallization of the salt cause powerful mechanical stress, leading to the disintegration of stone and other porous materials. This phenomenon of crystallization, dissolve and recrystallization of salt is known as chlorination. And the last type of factors, which is very serious one in the tropical countries, in the Indian subcontinent, is the biological factors or bio-deterioration. Bio-deterioration can be classified into insect attack, fungal attack, microorganism attack and other types of animals attack. First, we should discuss about the insect attack because it is very serious type of damage in India to our cultural property. In tropical countries, insect attack is extremely serious. Leather object, wooden object, paper object are liable to be damaged by insect. Following types of insect generally damage our cultural property, such as termites. Termites are found all over India, and it is the most dangerous type of insect. It is a social insect, and we have seen division of labor among them. In a termite colony, there is only one queen is present. Others are worker and soldiers, and male is present, but the queen lives in the safe position, and is very difficult to kill the queen of a colony, and for this reason it is very difficult to destroy the termite colony, and it causes serious damage to our cultural object. Powder post beetle specially damage wooden object. Common furniture beetle generally attack wooden furniture, structural timbers, which are of important value in our culture. Deathwatch beetle and other wood boring beetles are of serious type which cause serious damage to our cultural property. Longhorn beetle is also another important type of insect which affect wood, cane, basketry, grass, etc. Silverface. We often found this insect in our manuscript, paper manuscript, books, etc. Book lice also damages the wood bark. Soft teak insect generally found in teak wood. White ant, they also attack wooden furniture or object. Wood louse found under logs and bark of wood. Carpet beetles generally attack carpet and such type of insect textiles. After insect, the important type of biological agent is fungus. Microbial deterioration causes serious damage, and it is an urgent problem in conservation of cultural property. Dry rot fungus or Merulia species cannot develop in moisture content where lesser than 20%. The poor fungus or Porus violenti requires a higher moisture content. Salus fungus, Coniophora cerebella, only attacks woodwork in wet condition. Phalinus crypterium is able to grow at relatively high temperature. Penicillium, Aspergillus, Alternaria, Cladosporium, Trichoderma cause disfigurement of stone objects and other types of objects. Alternaria alternata and Cladospora attack wall paintings in the caves and this type of cultural properties. Bacteria and algae and moss normally occur on open monuments, temples, mosques, sculptures, etc., and it causes serious damage to this type of cultural object. Fungi and certain forms of lichen generally grow inside the buildings. Not only insect, fungus, etc., but animals of higher class also affect our monuments, temples, and other cultural properties. These are birds, bats, mice, rats, etc. The droppings, mainly of birds, bats, etc., stain the monuments and encourage mold growth. Decomposition of food remnants gives rise to fungal growth, and it also dirties the place. Body parts like hairs, feather increases particulates. Dead animals invite mold and insect growth besides generating offensive chemicals. Rats and mice directly attack wood, paper, textile, and totally destroy this type of object. At the end, we can sum up that conservation is a vast point and it is very difficult to discuss it in a nutshell in this module. Conservation of cultural property not only means that treating the object without considering whether the object really need the chemical treatment or not. And we should mention that each and every chemical treatment has some harmful effect to the human beings who are working with this chemical and to our environment also. So, when we treat an object with chemicals, we should take utmost care and we should not use any chemical unnecessarily. The first thing is to diagnose the cause of decay, and then we have to study the extent of decay, and after establishing the exact point or the cause of decay, we should take the measures for its treatment. It may be mechanical, chemical, or other types, that is electrochemical or electrolytic, etc., which will be discussed in the later modules, next modules. One should remember that prevention is always better than cure. So, to protect our cultural property, first we have to take preventive measures, then we have to go to the remedial measures. And regular inspection, good housekeeping, all of this helps a person to keep the cultural property in a stable and in a safe state. At last, I should mention that one should consult the references if he or she needs it, and one can go through the websites which is given at the end of the module. Glossary is there for further consultation, and do you know helps to find out the main points of this module. One student who want to go through this module can also exercise the multiple choice question given at the end for the proper preparation of this subject. Thank you.